Now you've already mentioned somebody. We can maybe I'll learn something here. Dave Ramsey's not for me. Okay. I know he talks about assets and liabilities and debt and being debt free. And this may be something that I have to reassess and say, you know what? Dave Ramsey works for you and works for a lot of students. Maybe he works for the majority of all your students. Maybe they do need Dave Ramsey because it may not, Grant Cardone may not fit their everybody's
exactly
plan. Because I think that a lot of what appeals to me is the entrepreneurs who take chances, who have a high risk tolerance, who use debt and
and use it wisely. Yeah, absolutely.
Wisely, hopefully. If it works, it was wise.
That's right.
If
so you can look back and say that was wise or not. Yeah,
exactly. A lot of times people use debt and it doesn't work, and then people get, crushed. So, but I like the and I don't have very much, but I like the positive. I like using debt, in a way to leverage the upside.
You have to. You have a business to support. You have to use debt wisely. And I think Dave Ramsey speaks more to the common person who has no real interest in the entrepreneurship side of it, just needs help on the budget and finance aspect of it. Not really the person that wants to go chase and make huge amounts and start their own business. I think he speaks more to that person who doesn't understand finance at all and needs to learn, hey, you're in a mess. You are in an absolute mess. And his aggressive kind of style and anger towards debt, I think really helps that percentage of people who need to hear it like that, because some people do need to be told, you're in an absolute mess financially.
Here's my fear there is, I have to be honest, I haven't studied him very much because I don't agree with a lot of his philosophy, but not saying, I think it might be very possible that he gives a lot of good advice to the majority, to the masses. Okay. But the problem I have is, I don't hear him talk about the idea of inflation and if your budgets, the reason I don't like budgets because, if you're focusing on budget, you're always focused on cutting back and eliminating liabilities. I understand that, and living within your means or living below your means so that you can save and so that you can buy cash. I think our biggest problem right now and our biggest obstacle is this printing press. You mentioned the Federal Reserve. And so the buying power of the dollar is going to continue to go down. And I think
money in a savings account right now is money lost.
Absolutely. So, I think that, budgets are tough and saving, so that you can have a debt-free house when you're 60 years old, 65 years old, man, that's kind of that's a long shot already. So, if the value of the dollar, if the value of the dollar does what a lot of smart people say it's going to do, our Social Security is not going to be very secure at all. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you're going to get $1,500, $2,000 a month from Social Security, if that $2,000 doesn't buy anything, you're in trouble. So I think that, figuring out ways to increase your income should be ahead of paying off debt. That's my.
I hear you. I think that's very intelligent, actually. I like the point you raised.
And I think that Dave could improve his word. I understand his mission. He's got a great mission. Debt's terrible, and people get crushed by debt and credit cards. And I mean, look, bad debt is terrible debt. And the house is a liability, by the way. Yeah. And that's hard for people to understand. I'll talk about that a little bit more in just a second. But I think that you and your students and that Dave and his following and that everybody listening really needs to understand you need to increase your income. And if you focus on, I think we've talked about this, or I've seen a few of your posts about this. If you focus on something, you're probably going to get it. If you focus on bad relationships, if you focus on negativity, you're going to get that. But if you focus on positive things, if you focus on increasing your income and you study and figure out, okay, hey, how can I increase my income 10%? Then you can do it, man. You can add 10% to your income. And then once you do that, you can add 10% again. So if you focus on increasing your income, then you're focusing on prosperity. I don't want to get too woo-woo, too new agey, but if you focus on prosperity and you focus on good things, you're going to get that back. Basically, the idea of reaping and sowing, right? So whatever you put out there, you're going to get back. And then if we focus on debt and eliminating debt, a lot of times we get more debt. But if we can shift our focus and our thinking and our goals, you mentioned goals right when we got started, if we can shift our goals to increasing our income, finding ways to do that, I think we'll have a better result.
I like that. Man, you're really talking on something there. And I even think about from a personal aspect, I've never known just working one job. I still, to this day, I coach soccer for the middle school, but I also do personal training. I've never for a personal client of mine. And let me tell you something also about finding multiple jobs. What do you also build when you have multiple jobs? Multiple what? Relationships.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, everything in life is, and the old saying, who you know matters, and it absolutely does. So the more jobs you have, the more people you're around, the more relationships you build, the more opportunity for growth and wealth you're going to have. And this one, a couple particular clients I've had in the past have opened up avenues for me. All I was a personal trainer, and yes, they were paying me for that, but they have given me other sources of income as well. So, I mean, you're really on it right there. You're saying, look, yeah, you can focus on debt and worry about that, or you can just simply work hard to make more money. That's not going to be an issue. That'll take care of itself once you've got the income. That's not an issue.
Income's better than eliminating the debt. Because you will eliminate the debt if your income increases. Unless you're a dummy.